We're continuing one more thought in Numbers 12, and it's really that word spoken about Moses from verses 6 to 8. And this quotation that says that Moses is faithful in all my house, verse 7, picked up in Hebrews, that this, because Moses got what church is all about. It's to be this family of people of all nations, skin colour, background, everything. And they are to be welcomed in and mentored up into the way of Jesus. And the Lord loves Moses for that he gets what it's all about, church. But he's so humble, Moses, and remember, he was educated in all the ways of Egypt, the highest academic achievements of the world of that time. Moses was educated in them, skilled in, and then think about that. Those were the empire builders that build pyramids and extraordinary architectural feats that still are here today. Amazing, the knowledge. He had all that, and possibly could have ended up being the next Pharaoh. Could have been the ruler of the world's great superpower of the day. Yeah, he could have had that, and tremendously gifted. I mean, some people have speculated that maybe he's one of the cleverest people who've ever lived, and his writings, of course, have changed world history and so on. This is Moses, and yet such a humble man. He doesn't big himself up at all. In fact, he reveals all his weaknesses. And the Lord acknowledges that Moses has a closeness to the Lord that is not the case for any of these other prophets. That by and large, with prophets, that they might receive a vision of the Lord, or a dream where the Lord speaks to them in a dream or something like that. But with Moses, such is the level of trust that it says here in verse 8, I speak with him face to face, plainly, not in puzzles or like things that need to be decoded. Just plain speech, not in the parable form kind of thing. And then it says this, he sees the form of the Lord. He sees the form of the Lord, which is this extraordinary point that what the Lord looks like. Now we know that Moses has seen the angel of the Lord face to face. He's seen Jesus like that, the pre-incarnate Jesus, seen his form, seen him face to face. And even, do you remember that time when he asked, because there's the Father who manifests himself in that cloud of thick darkness on the top of the mountain. And one time Moses says, Exodus 33 and 34, he says, I would like to see you, your glory, the Lord who is hidden in the darkness. And that Lord, the Father, says, no, you can't, no one can see me and live. No one. And John 1:18 says that. No one's ever seen the Father at any time. But what he actually gets in Exodus 34 is that the Father walks past this cave, and Moses is put into this cave with Jesus, really, because the Lord stands with him and proclaims the name of the Lord who passes by. And then Moses actually sees the Father, the back of the Father. And you think, my goodness, who has that experience? You could say Daniel in a vision sees the Ancient of Days at a distance. and John, in his vision in Revelation, sees someone seated on a throne at a distance. But Moses, the father, like passes by the entrance to this cave, and he's kept safe in it with Jesus, and then is able to kind of see the Father from behind like that. He sees the members of the Trinity in a way that really, there's only Jesus has a greater sight of the persons of the Trinity than Moses. And we just get this sense of how extraordinary a church leader Moses is. And then we think that the prophets basically preach the writings of Moses, and Jesus himself says, if you're going to understand me, you must first go and understand Moses. He is the one who's speaking about me. He's the one who explains me. Everything we think about Jesus in terms of an atoning sacrifice, blood of the covenant, high priest, or nearly every single thing of the language we use to describe who Jesus is and what he's done comes from the writings of Moses. So I think, and particularly in this incident as well, where Moses is trying to confidently enjoy and express this tremendous international vision of church, but he doesn't make a big fuss about it either. He just gets on with it. He's enjoying it. He doesn't hardly notice what he's doing. And then the Lord says, look, I notice, and I love this, the way Moses is. And the Lord stands up for Moses. See, Moses doesn't even stand up for himself. The Lord stands up for him because he's humble. So there's a lot to learn, isn't there, from Moses? That let's not always be busy trying to stand up for ourselves. Let's entrust ourselves to the Lord. Let the Lord and his people stand up for us. Let's be the sort of people who have such a close walk with the Lord that he will entrust us with these deeper experiences. And it's interesting, isn't it, that Moses had these experiences of like seeing the back of the Father, but he doesn't tell us what that looked like or what he felt or anything like that. It's as if that's not to be talked about and shared. What did he see? What did that look like? It doesn't say. Whereas some of us, if we have any sort of experience of the Lord at all, we're immediately telling others about it and going on about it, blogging about it. Maybe some of us even write books about it. And you think, well, why are we doing that? The main effect of that is to make us look better. But it also has a tendency to make other people feel worse. Like, why hasn't the Lord given me experiences like that? See what I mean? There's not many good outcomes from going on about your own spiritual experiences. Moses had unbelievable spiritual experiences. Didn't really go on about them at all. There's something so wonderful about this ancient church leader, Moses.